Hey, heads up Sigma.com, it's Hokie. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing several $200 hypers that I played on the Revolution Network recently. I'm going to review games against three different opponents, three different player types. I'm going to spend a lot of time review, especially with the first two opponents where I have reasonable samples on my HUD. Just kind of reviewing the general adjustments I'm making to the frequencies that I've got on my HUD sample so far. I think both players uh, allow us some opportunity to make some pretty unique adjustments, slightly unique adjustments. But especially the first guy, Abel Kane. I've been playing him off and on for the past 5 years. Actually, he was around when I was playing the $33 turbos on PokerStars in 2007. But really, I don't remember too much about his game. I mean, from the past or anything. But we've played a little bit recently. I've got 180 hands on him, and definitely a lot of unique statistics. I mean, just starting off, a couple of the frequencies that really stand out to me immediately are his pre-flop raise numbers, especially the fact. I mean, he's opening 52% overall, but he's only opening 38 and 29% at 12 big blinds and higher. And actually, a lot of that is open shoving. So, really, when he gets down to, from what I've seen, 16 big blinds or so, he's just open shoving and or limping. But if he's pre-flop raising, it's with an open shove, and that can be hands like 3-4 suited, king 3 suited, like 19 deep, 15 deep, etc. So really a unique opponent there. And I think really the best way to analyze that, something I covered in the last video, is to use ICMizer. Just plug in what you think his open jamming range is at a given stack depth and see what your calling range should be. When we look at his limping range, he's limping a bunch overall, especially at deeper stacks, 47% and 64% at 12 and higher. But that actually includes pretty much all of his good hands from what I've seen. I mean, he's limp raised me overall 4 of 7, but the type of hands I've seen, and something I just remember about him from the past, is like, he's limping his ace, he's limping his ace king, pretty much all but the weakest ace x, king queen, queen jack suited, etc. That if he's raising pre-flop at 12 big blinds and higher, it's mostly pretty weak stuff, and he'll do some really spewy stuff, like I said, like open shoving 3-4 suited or something. So what kind of adjustments do we make against someone who is limping a lot of good hands? One, obviously, is to stop raising as a bluff over his limp for the most part, pretty much completely, and until he makes some, until he starts adjusting maybe, or you feel like you're getting way too much credit eventually. But I don't think you should completely stop raising for value with hands that can't stand a limp raise. I mean, if he's limping 47%, 64% or whatever, there's going to be a lot of hands in his range that, are just going to limp fold or limp call. That I think it would be a mistake to not raise your jack 9 suited or your queen jack off over a limp for fear of getting, raised off your hand if he jams over you. I would just raise a little bit smaller than you normally would. If you normally 3 times, maybe I would just 2.5 times, the bottom of your range. But hands that do really well against a limp calling range, like a hand like Jack 10 off, just raise it to 50 over his limp, dominates his limp calling range, doesn't cost us as much when we get raised off of our hand. So I think those are some good adjustments to make. Just on the first hand here, he actually limps, and I just jammed my ace-8 off. I actually had a note that he limp called a shove with like ace-2 or something, like 24 deep. So I actually do think he'll be limp calling worse quite a bit. He's going to be limp calling better too. But I think it's still going to be a good enough play. I definitely expect him to be, pretty much spike calling with his queen jack, king 10, king 9 suited type stuff. But this really is the bottom of my range with probably ace 7 suited. But really the only hands that I would really consider, I mean, the reason that I'm jamming and not just like 4-timesing and getting it in is because like the hands in like the ace 8 off, ace 7 suited range as well as probably ace 8 suited. Yeah. Hands right in that range, like they're just not going to fare so well against the type of hands he's going to limp call for the most part. I think they're strong enough to get it in with, though, given that he's going to be calling worse a decent amount. I mean, I don't expect to have very good equity when called, but at the same time, I expect to probably get a fold when I jam maybe half the time or more. So I'm going to win, a big blind half the time from a fold, and have right around 50% equity, maybe just slightly worse when I get called. Hands like ace 9 suited, ace 10 off, I would just 4 times. Ace king off, I would just 4 times. And like I said, hands like 10-9 suited, jack 9 suited, stuff like that, I would just probably raise to 50 or so. And I don't really think he's going to pick up on that difference in sizing too much. And if he does, if I feel like he is, then I would probably just decrease my raise size with my ace king a little bit, since he's going to be limp raising so frequently. It's not like I'm going to prevent stacks from getting in by decreasing my size. So kind of a weird spot, though. I was kind of torn between